Welcome back everybody to the Ready or Not lore series, where in today's episode we will discuss the Watt Community College. This video will be divided up into two sections, the first being all in-game / developer confirmed information, and the second being my own theories as to where the world and story may go in the future.
Move quickly and clear the area.
An active shooter has been reported at Watt Community College. We don't know who the suspects are, and we have dozens of unknown civilians. However, two in particular we can discuss. First, we have Officer Jacob Blair, who works at Watt Community College as a security officer. He was one of the two officers to respond to the shooting as it began, and managed to engage one of the suspects committing the shooting within the lecture hall. He formerly worked for DeBanco as a security transport specialist, where he was responsible for sitting in the rear of the vehicle with a rifle. He had been engaged in multiple firefights within the city before deciding that it was in his best interest to resign. Injured within the building, Blair is likely to be somewhere within the first floor of the facility. Next, we have Officer Antonio Ibanez, a security officer for Watt Community College Science Campus. He worked with his partner, Jacob Blair, to stop the shooting before it escalated. He was mortally wounded in a gunfight against two of the shooters and dragged to safety. Ibanez is a former LSPD narcotics agent. He had worked on the force for 15 years, working multiple cases in close conjunction with the LSPD Criminal Investigation Division. After a case where he was slashed on his left arm by a suspect wielding machete, Ibanez turned in his badge in order to opt for a more sustainable lifestyle. And with that, let's listen to the 3 911 calls in the mission briefing. Also, just a heads up, the 911 calls are pretty tough to listen to, so if you want to skip them, I'll include timestamps.
911, this call is being recorded. What is your emergency? What is your emergency?
I need help.
Can you tell me what's wrong?
I'm hiding. There's blood. So much blood.
Okay, I'm going to need you to stay calm. Do you know where you are?
No, they don't.
No, I mean, where are you?
Hiding in a cupboard. They came in and just started shooting.
Okay, that's good. Where's the cupboard?
In a classroom.
You're doing great. So you're at school. Which school?
What college? Please, come help me. I don't want to die.
I need you to stay calm. The police are on their way, okay? They are on their way. Stay where you are.
I don't want to. Please don't let me die.
Stay calm. Remain where you are. Is the shooter nearby?
I don't know. Don't make me look.
Ma'am, I'm not asking you to do anything of the sort. Stay where you are.
Oh, God.
Ma'am?
They're coming back.
Stay calm. I'm right here with you.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. No, please, no!
911, this call's being recorded. What is your emergency?
I've been shot.
Okay, can you tell me your location?
I'm at the Watt Community College. 3 guys just came into the science block and opened fire.
Where are they now?
I don't know. There are bodies everywhere. Please send help.
The LSPD are on the way, sir. I need you to stay calm. Can you tell me how badly you're hurt?
They shot me in the back. I tried to run. There's blood, and I can't... Oh, Christ, I can't move my legs.
It's all going to be okay. Stay calm. Don't worry. Help is coming.
Do you promise?
The LSPD are en route, sir. We have paramedics coming too. Just remain calm, and if you can, in any way, find some cover.
I never told my mom I loved her. I always tell her before I leave the house, but today, I didn't. Oh, God, it hurts so bad.
Try to remain calm. What's your name?
George.
Okay, George. Just stay calm. Don't make any noise or draw attention to yourself.
Where are they?
Who? The shooters? Are they coming back?
The police, where are they?
The LSPD are on their way. I promise. But listen to me, George. You need to stay quiet.
Oh, God, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I love you.
George? George, can you hear me? George?
Boardwalk Community College campus. From what we know right now, they are contained inside the...
911, this call is being recorded. What's your emergency?
I need the police. You need to send the police right away.
Okay, ma'am. Can I take your location?
Yes, I'm at the Watt Community College campus. There's someone shooting. I don't know what's going on, but they told me to call.
Who told you to call?
The officers who were here, the security, I mean. They heard the shots, told me to call, and ran to help.
Can I take your name?
I'm Sarah. Sarah Chambers.
All right, Sarah. Tell me what happened.
There's someone shooting at the school.
We've already got officers en route. Can you see the shooters?
No, it's not here. It's over in one of the buildings. I'm just working at the coffee kiosk. I don't know what's going on.
That's fine. It's good that you're safe. Do you know anything about how many shooters there are?
No, I'm sorry. I don't know anything. The security guys were here ordering a coffee like they do every morning, and when we all heard something, it sounded like firecrackers, but far away. The security guys dropped their drinks, told me to call 911, and ran off.
That's great, Sarah. You've done really well. As I said, the LSPD is en route. We don't know how many shooters there are, so I'm gonna have to ask you to immediately find shelter.
I can hide here. There's no one around, but please, hurry.
Science wing, but we all know. All right, everybody, settle down and listen up. We've got active shooters in the Watt Community College campus. From what we know right now, they are contained inside the science wing, but we all know that could change. We've had numerous reports coming in, and we know there are victims dead and alive. We don't have time to mess around on this one.
How many shooters are there?
We don't know exactly. The reports have been varied, but we do know there are at least 2, but probably more. 2 campus security officers are at the scene. We don't know where, but we've got their details, and one is former LSPD.
Do we have contact with them?
No. We got the info based on what one of the 911 callers provided, and we don't have time to waste. We need to lock down that wing and close ground on them ASAP. I want you all to be ready. We're working to see if we can find a possible location based on the calls we're getting and the rooms the callers are in, but we're moving fast. If we don't have it when we pull up, we're going in without it.
What are our entry points?
The science wing has 3 main entrances. I want to hit all 3 at once. We're not giving them a chance to get out once we arrive. We've got uniforms coming in too, locking down the campus and doing all the footwork. It should be obvious, but we're going in with lethal force, boys. These assholes are shooting kids. My kid went to this college, goddammit.
Okay, so yeah, the situation is as bad as you can imagine. The 911 calls and mission brief both explain what we already pretty much could have discerned about this mission. Things are bad, lethal force is authorized, and we have no idea how many civilians are left in the building, nor how many shooters there are. Also, I guess this is worth noting, but team lead, whoever he may be, has a kid who went to this college, so yay for character development. Arriving on scene, we find a school in chaos. Even though this is a college, the problems of Los Sueños have creeped its way into campus, as we see garbage overflowing, and we can presume it's worse in other places around campus, as we can find a banner that says cleanup drive, organized to declutter campus. Looking around at the clutter outside, we can find backpacks and paper scattered, likely tossed aside by fleeing students. Around the back, we can see that there was a college fair going on to recruit new students. The first booth we find has all the posters Michael Williams had in his room on the streamer map. This time, these movies are being presented by the AV Club, as they watch the Cameron Finch Scott They saga. The next booth we find is the cleanup drive, as we just discovered, followed by science fair / astronomy club / science class recruitment booth. There are also booths for recruiting for chemistry class, biology classes, and one for STDs and birth control. There's also a magazine that can be found called the Deco Science Magazine, dated November 13th, 1990. It talks about the Hubble telescope, Dolly, the cloned sheep, and an interview with astronaut Clinton Crumpler. What's worth noting here is that Hubble was launched in April of '90, not November, and Clinton Crumpler isn't an astronaut, and Dolly the sheep was cloned in '96. So this is interesting to say the least because basically all these things happened in real life, save for the astronaut interview, but most of these events occurred later or earlier in Ready or Not's universe, which again is a cool bit of world building. Again, we already know that the Ready or Not universe is vastly different from our own in city locations, historical events, people, etc. All these things don't really add to the story being presented in the missions, but they add to the overall world building. To me, is really fascinating and probably one of my favorite aspects about this game. Also, before we head inside, I feel like it is my civic duty to show you all this hot dog stand. This totally normal, not weird at all, hot dog stand. Anyway, entering from the front door, we find a wounded Officer Ibanez, alive but bleeding. The interior here is rough, with blood and bullet holes everywhere. Looking at the back wall, we can see a history of Watt College that reads, "Between the 1950s and 60s, the city of Los Sueños expanded very quickly as its population kept growing exponentially. The need for educational facilities grew with it, and in 1964, the Watt Community College opened its doors for the very first time. The campus only counted 2 buildings at the time and offered only economics, law, and scientific courses. In 1972, with financial support from the city of Los Sueños, the campus of Watt College expanded. An administration building was built, as well as the Johnson Hall, a new building for the economics and business courses, a gymnasium, and a few dorms. A few new buildings were added to the campus between 1984 and 1989. Allowing Watt Community College to welcome twice as many students as before. In this period, Watt built the Science Center, the Humanities Center, a brand new library, and the Art Department. The Durham Courtyard was also added in honor of Sir Aaron Durham Jr. for his financial support of these additions to the college campus. And the last one just talks about a fire in the Science Center and how they had to rebuild it and how they painted murals inside. Taking a right, we can find a corkboard with dozens of flyers, but the most important one I could find is an advisory against using MindJot, as they considered a security threat to student data, which is interesting because chronologically, the raid on MindJot doesn't occur for another 2 months, as this mission is in October and MindJot's raid is in December. With nothing of note in any of the rooms, we can find one of the murals that was painted after the fire and see that it was vandalized, presumably by a rival school. Going to the left side, there isn't much until we hit the cafe, or we can find that you get a free coffee after you show that you're newly enrolled at Watt Community College, which is more than my college gave me when I enrolled. I'm not salty. Anyway, continuing along, we find a lecture hall where the shooter interrupted a class in session, and it's also presumably where the shooting began, on the account of the bodies. Moving up a level, there really isn't much besides the other mural and a map of the real California that includes Los Angeles and not Los Sueños, which, to make this make sense, let's just say this is a fiction class and they're teaching world building, and that this is their new fake map of California. With nothing else of note on this map, let's now look at the evidence. But first, before we look at them, let's look at the actual evidence boxes. As we can see, they have been covered in manic writings that read, "My little boy," followed by many instances of the word F***. The evidence was sealed by Officer Thomas Roods, which may hint at his son actually dying in the attack. Anyway, the first piece of evidence we have is antidepressants, the lifeline of many who endure trauma and mental abuse within Los Sueños. A staggering 36% of all residents are diagnosed with mental health-related issues. Much of its increase relates to privatized therapy costs spiking, while much more accessible outlets are strained by a lack of resources. After the Watt Community College massacre, Albert Liu and Archie Zem were both found to have casonopram antidepressants in their system. The events that took place sparked a national debate about mental health throughout the United States. Next, we have Tilly's bag. Tilly attended Watt Community College for a year looking to study psychology, intending to become a psychotherapist. After noticing the decline in mental well-being throughout many people in her life and the city's residents, seeing mental health stigmatized and overlooked, Tilly saw her dream to help others as a lifetime goal. Sadly, she would not see it come true. And finally, we have Archie Zem's final social media post before the incident. LSPD recovered the posts from his account from the Malibu social media platform on the day of the attack. The post reads, "It seems like this is it. One last redacted. But to those I love, family in particular, it was never meant to be this way. The things I will do, the acts I will commit today, will shock the country to its core. The people who redacted never cared for us and never will. Our brains rot midst of our redacted. There is no escape. All of us that wander within this hellhole have been foreordained by whoever redacted, and we are only fastening the process now. This country spirals every day, only destined for redacted. I will likely die tomorrow, hopefully in a hail of bullets when the pigs arrive. Maybe we can put some of those redacted after the initial carnage. To Chase and Albert, redacted, and I will forever redacted for what you have done for me. It gets me knowing that this will be the last day I see your faces, smiles and laughs. The stage has been set. To those who have wronged us, you will. Redacted. And on that note, let's discuss a few things. So let's start by talking about the name of this mission, Elephant. It's no secret that this mission is based on the 1999 Columbine shooting, which was depicted in a fictionalized account in the movie Elephant, directed by Gus Van Sant. The title Elephant is a reference to the metaphorical elephant in the room, which represents an obvious problem or difficult issue that people avoid discussing. In the context of the movie, it alludes to the underlying issues and tensions in the lives of the students and their broader societal problems that contribute to acts of violence, such as school shootings. We learn of this growing mental health crisis in Los Sueños, with 36% of all residents being diagnosed with some mental health-related illness, which is not too far from reality, as approximately 22.8% of adults in Los Angeles County experience some form of mental health disorder each year. Mental health issues, mixed with being a societal outcast, coupled with the public toilet that is social media, it's no wonder mental health is on the decline. And I hate using my platform to be preachy or anything of the sort, but I'm a massive mental health advocate. I myself have been to therapy, and it has helped me substantially in so many ways, and I would highly recommend seeking therapeutic help if possible, because at the end of the day, mental health is extremely important. Seriously guys, for every single one of you watching my videos, take care of yourself. The world needs you. Okay, I'll step off my soapbox and get back to the lore. Let's talk about who these people are, these shooters. Chase, Albert Liu, Archie Zem, and some unknown fourth individual. The whole thing was orchestrated by Archie and this unknown person. We know that 2 out of the 4 were on antidepressants, which is the leading theory as to why they attacked Watt Community College. What is strange to me, however, is that they concealed the identity of the 4th shooter. Well, the first thing it makes me think of is that he's connected to somebody important probably. Again, out of the 4 suspects, to hide the identity of all would make sense, as concealing them all would eliminate the possibilities for glory killers and copycat killers to be inspired. And to explain what those 2 things are, and to briefly dust off my forensic psychology notes from college, glory killers are individuals who commit crimes, particularly murders, to gain notoriety and public attention. Their actions are often driven by a desire for recognition, fame, or a sense of importance. The media coverage and public reaction to their crimes can be a significant motivating factor for these individuals. Copycat killers are individuals who commit crimes that mimic or replicate the actions of previous crimes, often inspired by the publicity and details of the original crimes. These individuals are influenced by the media coverage of other criminals, and they may seek to emulate their methods or motivations. So were they to conceal the identity of all 4 of them, it would make sense to eliminate the possibility of creating those 2 responses. But they didn't. They just hid one. And it goes deeper than that. While writing this script, I became curious if I missed any dialogue, so I decided to dig around in the audio files to find something, and I happened to find this.
They work for them. They sent them.
Now, this was said by Albert Liu. We know he wasn't one of the masterminds. It was Archie and this unknown individual who planned the whole thing. Chase and Albert were only the lackeys. What Albert says, they work for them. They sent them. I assume they are Archie and the unknown individual, but the other they, as in they sent them, they sent Archie and unknown individual, is interesting. Now, I thought this was a pretty clear cut and dry case of mental health issues leading to misguided boys to commit a horrendous act. But now we have one of the 4 suspects redacted from the record, and Albert saying Archie and unknown individual work for them. They sent Archie an unknown individual, which to me seems to imply that this is far deeper than I thought initially. Looking back at all the redacted text from the screenshot, it's really hard to tell what Archie was saying for a lot of the text, because tons of things could fit in the redacted parts. For example, the last sentence, "The stage has been set. To those who have wronged us, you will," redacted. So it could be, "You will be killed. You will die, you will suffer," etc. and etc. So without more details, that's next to impossible to interpret. But again, this all goes back to why. Why redact information like this? Why redact one individual? Why reveal hidden truths about the others, like the antidepressants, but hide the majority of a social media post? Without any further evidence, we can't really assume if this has anything to do with any of the big bads in this series. But for me, the first thing that comes to mind is that the USIA has something to do with this. We know they did an MKUltra-like LSD experiment in this universe. We know their favorite playground is Los Sueños. We know Los Sueños has a mental health issue. And we know a lot of citizens are on antidepressants. So allow me to don my tinfoil hat for a moment and suggest that maybe the antidepressants that they were taking were laced with something. Maybe it's something making them more susceptible to suggestion. Maybe unknown individual didn't go to the school. but has ties to the USIA in some non-official way, like he was an informant or something along those lines. Maybe they were using the unknown individual to test these new drugs, found success, and wanted to see how far they could push it. So they pushed the unknown individual to meet with Archie, someone who probably had a history of mental illness, and the two, on these fake antidepressants, potentially met up with an agent who pushed them further into radicalism, gave them body armor, high-powered weaponry, taught them how to make explosives, and sat back and watched. Again, there was nothing to suggest this, only a hunch based off of 2 pieces of evidence, and I would absolutely love to hear your guys' theories. But if it were true, and the USIA was involved in this, and that information got out, well, then that could be the only smoking gun that could actually kill the USIA.